Zero ends. All right, welcome, guys. Welcome to another session, another podcast here on the Zero Ends channel. I am Zero Ends. As you know, Black conservatism, Black politics, somewhat of ethnic news and ethnic breakdown of certain events, and even let's go as far as these so-called debates that we find here today. If you're new to the Zero Ends channel, welcome to the Zero Ends channel. And like always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. You see the thumbnail, you see the title. It has made its rounds, and I think it's now slowed down. But it's more to really look into this, because this is something that has to be examined in a microscope, in a catalysm. And everybody that either like or hate Amanda Seales, and yes, she did try to get a black man that's a doctor fired. I'm aware of this, but I look more beyond the firing and look at what is being presented here. In regards, she has a conversation with 20 black radicals. And I can't say allegedly, but they're black radicals. So let's see how this fares out with Amanda Seales. And rumor is, I think the rumor right now, what I'm seeing circulating, if I can find it. I can't find it though. Yeah, I can't find it. Damn. Unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Anyhow, let's play the video, and if I do find it, I'll let y'all know. Let's go. Fair use. This is Jubilee. Oh, there we go.
Widely known as a comedian, an actress, a disruptor, an annoying person on the internet who always tells the truth. And I am now an artistic intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates. And today, I am surrounded by 20 black conservatives. My first claim is it is undeniable that reparations are just and necessary.
And before the show begins, let me say this once and once again about this reparation talk. And I'm going to let y'all know a secret here, because there was some data I've looked over in regards to population of Black people in America. And for my understanding, a lot of Black people have not updated their files of what is the population where we stand now in America in regards to population size. We are now a rough 50%. I'm sorry. We're at 15% of population of the United States. And I'm not sure if we're the biggest so far in the United States. Let me double check, because I want to make sure out of all countries that's not a fully Black nation, are we the biggest? What the hell is this? Shores. What the hell is this? I've never seen that. I don't know. It's coming. All right. All right. Is Black people the largest? Or let's say, is Black people in the United States the largest in any other nation that's not Black dominated in population? And I have to do this before I continue on with this tape, because a lot of people have not updated their files. All right. Let me look at something. It looks like, yes, the United States has the largest Black population of any country outside Africa, where Black people are not the majority of the population, which I was correct. Outside America, anywhere you see Black people reside, and I'm going to break down numbers later on, we are at 15% of the population. Everybody else where we reside that's not a Black nation is under that, below that. And it's between 14 and 50%. We'll just say 15%, so I'm right. All right, so let's play the tape. Fair use. Enjoy.
All right, reparations, fair, necessary. My question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it? And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Whenever there's a real thing that this country wants to do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay, there's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything needs to be done is done. With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us in the real world. So if you want to help Black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised, because let's be clear, everybody in here is Black. We all American, we all got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with, it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider Black people equal. And it shows that in many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of Black people as a labor force in this nation back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave labor in prisons. So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received reparations. When it comes to the use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going to come up a lot today, it's a matter of values, right? For me, my value system circulates around the fact that I think that as a community, we should all be engaged in repair for our community. So I don't think there should be any problem with there being tax dollars spent at repairing consistent efforts that have been made to impede Black people. So the reparations you're talking about are not just related to slavery. There's reparations that have been discussed all over this nation in different communities as it relates to particular massacres, as it relates to redlining and the impediment of Black people to earn wealth by having property. There's been impediments in various ways that can be repaired. And I want to also just add, there's reparations that are considered a cash payment from a government. There's also the version of reparations that shows up in how funds are applicated to specific groups of people. So there's multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot happen could very well happen.
Okay, now as far as the money going towards certain things is going to help us, let's look at Baltimore Public Schools. They get, I think, the third most money per pupil in the US of A, like $15,000 per student, but yet the majority of the population that comes from that environment can't read. They're illiterate. So we're dumping money on the situation, yes, but yet we're not getting the results we should get from it. Money's not going to help the thing. We need to just focus on what we need to focus on. As far as Black people being labor force of this country, what else are we doing? We got 25% of us on some kind of government assistance. 1 out of every 3 Black men will go to jail. We got to do something. We got to work with our hands, work with tools, do something, because we're not doing much of anything. And also, one more piece here. Reparations, again, always dangling in front of us, never going to happen. As long as you've been living, as long as I've been living, as long as everybody been living, they say we need it, and it never gets done. One more piece.
You just said one more piece, then you're adding another one.
I promise.
So hold on to it. One more piece.
I'm gonna land the plane. I'm gonna land the plane. I promise. Reparations is a thing. Like I said, it's a carrot to dangle in front of us. They're never really going to get it done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they're using to try and make us stay Democrat. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, Democrats are not doing reparations either. They're not. This is nonpartisan. This is Black partisan, baby. Okay.
Well,
this is nonpartisan.
Who do we vote for? Who do we vote for? 93% of the time. There's no incentive.
To be quite honest, you're not talking to a Democrat. You're talking to a radical.
Okay, but let's
land this plane very quickly.
Who do we vote for?
Let's land this plane quickly.
You're
talking to a radical, not a Democrat.
Okay, and you are your own person.
Let me tell you something now. I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh, no.
That's not how we're going to. That's not how we're going to enter.
We having a debate.
A debate does not require continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay, no problem.
Now, I do want to state this. You're stating things as it relates to how money is not fixing a problem without acknowledging the fact that the problem doesn't exist in a vacuum and that there are so many other factors that are determining how that money is getting spent to impede it from actually fixing a problem. You can put all the money into Baltimore Public Schools you want, but if you are also putting all this money into policing, into communities that are not getting resources, then you are also creating your own conundrum. The other part of this is that when you're saying they, the they is a broad context. And the last part of this that I will say is that you keep saying they're dangling this in our face. They're dangling in our face. Slavery lasted for 400 years. It hasn't even been 400 years since slavery. So should we be only fighting for a quarter of the time to get repair?
All right. I'm so sorry.
All right. ABL. Let me say this, brother. Stay away from debates. This ain't your stronghold. You're better off going to your little over 1 million and something million subscribers and let them hear you babble nonsense. But when you're out here debating the talking points, making your point, expressing why this, that, you're not holding on and holding front of what you're trying to lay out in front of the debate. You're not even doing a debate. You're every time I say we should not do this, or these people got this, or it's done. But Black people is an issue. Stop it, bro. Stop it. At least you would bring some tangible, some substance to the table in regards to why you're conservative and why Black people don't deserve any form of repayments in regards of reparations. That I would say. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. As you know, this is the zero ends portion of this. Black conservatism, I think, is false. It's non-existent. I lay out the question out here, and I'm gonna put in the tab. What is black people, especially black men, black women, that follow conservatism? What are you conserving? Is question layout. But anyhow, next victim, get out. Next.
You've been voted out by the majority.
All right.
Please return to your seat.
Okay.
My name is Matt Nuclear.
Hello,
I
Matt.
appreciate-
Matt
Sure.
Nuclear?
Matt Nuclear, yes.
Matt Nuclear, give me a better handshake than that. Let's
Thank
do
you.
it.
I
All right.
appreciate having this conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000 check, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently. A $50,000 check, it's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie all the time. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you
being
acting
impinged on
right now?
anything.
Do you really believe
I'm telling
this?
the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my
Tell me.
God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now. Okay. So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist, and stating that it doesn't exist doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact. And there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affecting the school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in third grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons,
how are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von
reparations.
Hold on,
actually, no, let me land the plane. Yeah. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, Black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that Black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one
No,
point that I wanted to
answer the
say?
question.
Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
Please return to your seat.
You know, the sad thing about all this throughout the whole entire debate, and welcome guys, like the stream, share the stream. Oh, if you guys want to join the conversation, I'll put the link for you to come up and really answer these questions or answer the poll that I present forth, and you could also participate. A lot of these young dudes, and look like this guy might be under 30. Maybe. Why are you following conservatism? Now, a lot of people think that this channel might fall on the liberal banner. No, we don't follow no labels. And the reason why is because people are goddamn stupid. And I'm going to tell you, especially Black folks, you follow too much clicks. You have no mind of your own. You don't question nothing. You don't think outside the actual box. In regards to you don't think outside what we call supremacy box. And you're a parrot using the same talking points about how lack and low value you are as a race, as a set of people. When I hear conversation about the violence on Black people, Black on Black violence, and a very good book that explains the real context of Black on Black violence, which I have right here, is Black on Black violence. And matter of fact, I'm gonna give you the book right now since I'm here. I'm not gonna spurt off the mouth. One moment, guys. Please like the stream, follow the stream. I'm gonna present y'all the book. The book, which it was right there in front of me. It's a good thing I had that book in front of me. And there's many more books that y'all need to start going for literature. Black on Black violence, the psychodynamics of Black self-annihilation in service of white domination by Amos and Wilson. An excellent read, book. I will advise every person, if you're Black, you got common sense. Hopefully the common sense still is a part of you. I would highly advise you pick up this book. He explains the whole context of Black on Black violence for you slow naysayers. That's all I'm going to say. There's another book I can reference, but I think this book lays it out perfectly. And this book was released back 35 years ago. Let me see what year. 1990. Some say it could have been 1991, but I said 1990. Yeah, 1990. Yeah. And then it was reissued in 2001. But this book right now is roughly 35 years old. So you guys got to start looking into this thing, why you think and always concerns about Black on Black violence. You got to understand its whole entire context. And violence is an American issue, not just one race issue, you dummies. Let's keep going. Marius.
I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do. I really. We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting. Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old
mom.
are you?
I'm 32.
I am 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really? Mm-hmm. Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got, not asking for handouts from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery, and they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things.
Are you sure about that, brother? Because you got to understand, slavery since, if I had to recall, 1500s up to 1865 in America. And we go as far as we could say it goes even as the base number of 1619. You're looking at 1619 to 1865. That is an span of, my math right, 1, 2, 3, I would say 200 and almost 50 years or something. Let me do the math. Let me just double check, because I don't want to be quoting. Let me calculate that. All right, from 1619 subtracted by 1865. You look at an span of 246 years. We have physical chattel slavery, not to mention of the Jim Crow laws after that in the, I would say, end of the 60s going on the 70s and 1800s, that lasted for almost another 100 years. So I'm not sure where you're basing your knowledge or your understanding about hard work and enslavement. Slaves work hard and they get shit for their work. We'll stop there. Let's continue.
Because they believe that there'll be a future where there would be a black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves. That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president and we had a black vice president. I mean, I think she was black. They said she was black.
Now, I hope this dumb nigga is not basing black progress because we have a black man once in office. I hope this is not the angle this dumb nigga's going through. I swear to God, I hope not this is the angle this dude's going through. They want us to lay out about progress and conservatism because you have a black president and a black so-called female president. I hope, man. Let's go, man.
I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby, please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
Come on in. No, you know who helped her?
Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir, that's simply not true.
I mean,
if that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their
hear
culture, black culture is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have.
But brother, with the so-called Israel symbol on your neck, and I don't know why you represent that, but that's not a question. Who create the environment so black people could create what is called black culture? It's a question. Because if you think about it, most black people don't act and move the way they do. They move the way they do by circumstance and the environment which they adapt to and create some in this toxic environment that what you deem or you looked at as black culture. And think about this. Black people, even in this peril and destruction given by this white domination society, they still are able to create, reinvent everything that these people have to constantly keep stealing. So how bad is this so-called black culture today? I might add. And yes, it has problems. It does have problems. But yet again, we are still innovating and creating things out of toxicity. So I'm not sure what angle you're going by about this white culture is better than black culture. And most white people don't really have much culture. They steal other people's stuff. So for those that don't know. Anyhow, let's keep going.
Produce a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers
So
in
white
the black
culture is
home. Let's talk
Stop.
about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, it's a debate has to be in facts.
You're
you
putting
are
off
literally
emotional
not,
liberalism
I am
right
not
now.
putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies
That's what y'all
based
do. Y'all
in
start saying
conservatism.
misinformation. Remember they did the misinformation thing all summer where everything
Look
conservative
at this man.
did. They said
You're
misinformation.
carrying a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and non-Jewish people. But let me bring it back. Let me bring it back.
Selling black people
Let me
in
bring
Africa
it. That was not happening in the context that you're saying.
And they were selling
Let's
their own
bring it
people.
back.
Black people still sell their own people today too. By
I don't
the
know
way,
if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own people today
I don't know
too.
if I'm gonna
You
last.
probably won't last with me.
I won't because your ignorance is so
See,
overwhelming.
y'all, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting defeated in an argument.
You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine if they don't let me come
You
back
won't
up.
even.
I made my point.
You didn't make your point.
I made my point.
You haven't
And
made your
I'm okay
point.
with being
And let me
voted
just
out.
tell you about your point. You started off saying we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated.
So let me get this straight. Reparation is stealing. Okay, let's have that conversation. Let's have that goddamn conversation. It's stealing. If it's stealing, why do other nations get a form of reparation from the United States in the forms of billions? Why is the United States giving Asia, I think the Jewish state, they call Israel, what are nations, India, or any other in regards to foreign aid, why are they giving these people money? Isn't that considered stealing in the United States Treasury and government that is departing all their nice little resource, their wealth to other nations? Isn't that a form of stealing? I might add. So why is the issue when it comes to that it's time that you get your money is a big issue? Yo, these people are weird, man. I swear to God. Anyhow, let's keep going.
Compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana?
Are you sitting?
Wait. You said slaves were compensated for the work. Is this what this dude just said? Am I hearing things? That don't make no sense. You said slaves were how? They were getting their rightful due of 40 acres and a mule that was supposed to be guaranteed grant to the United States government after enslavement. Might I add. So how you were compensated? I don't think this guy's born in America. I think he's a first generation American. I have a feeling he is. I think he is. Let's go.
at home playing a video game? Are you sitting at home playing a video game?
The people that they're wanting
Am I
reparations
sitting at home
for-
playing a video game? No.
The people
And
they
I don't
want
know
reparations
I don't
for-
know who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the black community is not sitting at home playing video games.
The majority of the black
Where are
community
you
is
getting
doing a lot
that
of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
statistic?
right.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go.
Yeah, man, you didn't say nothing, bro. You're saying not only the worst talking points, but you say that reparation is a form of stealing. You have no fucking idea how this nation is stealing from in the nation and giving the money to others that don't deserve it, or allegedly they said deserve it, and you still haven't got yours. You're a dumb bucket. Real talk. Real goddamn talk. Anyhow, next victim. Get that loose out the way. Next.
Hello. My hand's wet from the bottle.
My hands are sweaty because
Okay.
I'm nervous. We both got sweaty
Got it.
hands. Okay. So I just wanted clarity because I think it'd be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You said radical. I wanted just clarity on that. And then also with the reparations, you said it's not just money, it's other things. I just want to know, like, what do you see as like the grand picture of what would help?
The grand picture of what would help.
Of
what?
reparations, like what does that look like to you?
Oh, great. Reparations, what reparations looks like to me is a combination of reparations and remunerations. And reparations are about repair for damages that have been caused based on harm. Remunerations is a monetary response to work that has not been paid for. So if you come and paint my house and I don't pay you, you can take me to court and get remunerations for the work that you have done. So we're actually owed both in this nation as Black people. And there are incredibly just clear-cut records that show the buying and selling and purchasing of slaves, the work that was done, also the intellectual property that was stolen from slaves, right? Because there was so much inventing that was happening. And there is also quite a bit of other reparations that are being discussed as it relates to property being stolen, as it relates to, again, redlining and the inability for Black people to get loans, et cetera. And these impediments being solely based on their race.
As far as like discrimination?
Yes, like they're being solely based on their race, that not being about anything other than you're Black, so you can't, right? And so when it's very clear cut like that, there are very distinctive responses to that can be done through a cash payment, as well as through measures that are being done to create funds for creating resources and responses like housing, like access to food, access to education, et cetera, that certain communities have not had access to because of the fallout from these things.
And I just had a quick question for clarifying. With the funds, I'm wondering, where do you think those should come from? Like the actual money, like is that we're raising money? Is it taxes? Like what does that look like?
Well, I think what they've been doing with these different reparations committees is they're looking at, all right, well, how much has this city or how much has this town or how much has this country gained from the estimated amount that was stolen from these people, right? So they're looking at like, what is this wage amount? For instance, like if you look at during that time, okay, what was the wage amount that a hired worker would get for this same work? All right. And so we're looking at how was that wage not provided and what is that pool that is being created? And then we're looking at, all right, where can that wage come from in terms of how has that wage been applied? So there are spaces where this is very clear. I think the last thing that you asked about was the difference between liberal and radical.
Yeah, please.
Ultimately, the concept of liberalism is really just not Republican, right? I mean, that's essentially what it's become.
I would disagree with that, but I understand that's your stance.
There's a very generic concept of what liberalism is in the sense that it's simply saying that I am a part of the bipartisan mind frame, but I am not a Republican. It's a mindset. It doesn't always show up in action, but it's a mindset that says, you know, I don't support extremes in certain ways, or, you know, I want the government to show up in certain ways. You know, I know there's a conservative point of view that says there should be less government, but even though it just says that, the action is very different. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical Blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation.
Thank you for explaining that.
And thank you for being very respectful.
We were told to be respectful. We're not your enemies.
Thank you, my good sis.
Surrounded is now a podcast, available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded.
My next.
All right. Well, at least she asked the question, and Amanda Seals laid out what her ideals of reparation in the form of what be fair and honest. I think as you listen more, you're going to hear some major conspirators up here trying to debate Amanda about next talking point about why black on black crime is a result of over policing and all that stuff. And really listen carefully on these dudes in their thinking about this black and black crime nonsense, which I have a problem with a lot of them, really. I mean, a whole lot of them. But yeah, let's go.
Claim is that black on black crime is a result of underinvestment and over policing.
So you say that black on black crime is due to underfunding and overpolicing, essentially.
Yes.
I actually don't necessarily disagree with one of those. Okay. I think that, however, the government, who do you think should be responsible for the funding piece of the black community? Should that be something that the government should step into, or should that be something that we as black people need to handle ourselves? Dr. Jordan Peterson and even Thomas Sowell and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation in the black community of absentee fatherism being one of the root causes leading into criminality. Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers. We live in a patriarchal system. Like it or not, men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision-making, especially when we focus on the black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with. Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So therefore...
So it's marriage?
Well, that's a part of it. That's marriage is a part of it.
Okay.
But the true piece that I'm looking at is connectedness between familial units. The black community was at its economically strongest while being at its poorest during the segregation era. Prior to 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said that we have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year, which is more than all of the exports of Canada and more than all of the exports of the United States and more than the national budget of Canada. That was when we were economically at our poorest. Yet 85% of our black children were growing up with a father in the home. There was less black on black crime. There was less disenfranchisement.
Why was there less black on black crime?
Because we needed to live together. We had to stick by each other. We had to stick
What
by
was
each
there
other.
also less of?
I'm not sure where you're leading. That's a leading question. I don't like those.
You don't like this?
I don't like leading questions, no. I like direct stuff.
So essentially, when we were living in our own communities, we were also policing our own communities. So we were not being used as statistics in the same way to determine how resources were provided to our own communities. When we were going to the government saying, hey, we deserve because we are supposed to be separate but equal, we weren't saying, hey, we want to be with y'all. We were essentially saying, we want what you are stating we deserve. And that is what all of the efforts of the civil rights movement has been. It's literally just been to say, you said when we got out of the Civil War that we would be considered citizens. And all citizens should be getting equal access to these things. However, you are actively allowing the Klan to harm us. You are actively allowing...
Who's killed more black people, the Klan or us?
I would like to continue my statement. I let you speak uninterrupted.
You did.
When we talk about this concept of who is harming us, we are really making a false claim when it comes to black on black crime, as if there isn't white on white crime. There's also this unnecessary effort to try and pathologize black on black crime in a way that you don't try to pathologize white on white crime. There are white people killing each other every single day. Now, they may be on jet skis in the pictures after they shoot up their whole family, but nonetheless, there are white people killing each other every single day. Now, much of the reason why you may see more numbers in terms of black on black crime are for two reasons. One, the statistics be lying all the time. We have seen
what
this.
Numbers? Okay, when you
we have
say
seen
that,
this in a real way. So in New Jersey.
When you say,
so in New Jersey.
What numbers can be trusted? Because with the previous speaker, you
I'm
said
about to tell you right now.
Okay, so your sources can
you
be trusted.
You can't such number. No, I'm literally about to give you an example of numbers not being able to be trusted.
Okay, talk to me.
That's what I was doing.
I'm listening.
Okay, then listen.
Oh, my ears open.
So listen. In New Jersey, they had a statistic that was created by the police department that said, look at how many black people are committing crimes. Look at how crazy this number is. These black people are so exorbitantly violent. Look at this. And then people went and actually matched the names that they were booking with the faces of the actual people incarcerated. Okay. And it was proven that they were lying.
So that's one instance.
That's
Hold on.
one
No,
example.
you're talking to somebody that works as a police dispatcher when I'm not making content. So here's the thing.
I see.
No. You see what?
Well,
The truth is, you're about to see the truth if you just give me a second. Like Trump said, just give me a second. I'm going to do the weave, but give me a minute.
Well, here's
So
what
when
you all keep doing. You keep
give
interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the point that I'm going to make.
The point that
and
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. So if you want me to keep getting louder, I will do it. But ultimately, if I show you respect, give me the respect back. I let you talk. I let you make your points. I am countering your points. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
It's not a Church of Christ. It's
Whatever.
A cross.
It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately,
Not a cop, dispatcher. There's a
ultimately
difference.
it's ACAB all day over here. So let me make that clear. But let me also add to my point. My point is that you can sit here and blame black people on black people all day long and not acknowledge that we are forced into. You're coming to interrupt me again.
I haven't even said a word.
All right, that is flagged, so I'm going to ask you to return to your seat.
It's a waste of my time. Y'all just want to be seen. I don't need to be seen.
God damn, Dr. Hood didn't even put a decent fight. Talking about you were dispatcher here about when they call about when black people going on an assault on each other. Black on black violence, as it states, is an American problem, which America as a whole has no problem with violence. And when they do talk about violence, they're focusing on violence on only black people, a small minority in the population, and instead the whole of America, including them. And their violence in their communities is just as high or even higher. And the worst thing about it, your violence in your own community should not really exist because you have the necessary resource. Unlike black people, we have no resource. And thus, violence will insist amongst a more deprived community. You give black people the necessities, you don't see no violence, most likely in the black community. I'm sorry. That's how things work. Next victim. Next.
Hello.
How are you? I'm
Yes,
Jasmine, the pretty queen. Say less outfit. Okay.
Thank you.
So this is my thing. I think the premise of your question was black on black crime. So I think I'm coming from a place, and I guess my issue is having had my biological father murdered by a black man, having had my cousin shot in the head by a black man. We can talk numbers and statistics and what the people are doing, what the white man is doing and all that. But at the end of the day, I see when my family lives on the south side of Chicago, and I think you and I both can attest to this, and I'm not saying that there are not other factors, but we know that we kill each other at a disproportionate rate than any other race. Now, why we do that and why 6,000 to 9,000 black men are going to be homicided or killed or whatever by the end of the year annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year, we know that we kill each other at a higher rate. So I'm not debating that there are not factors at play, but because I've lived the experience as a black woman losing my father to be murdered by a black man, walking down the street being, by the way. No worries, thank you. But walking down the street in inner cities and different things, knowing that it's more likely that my own brother will rob and rape me than a white man or a white officer, we gotta be real.
What's your proximity to white men in the south side of Chicago? Are there even white men around to rob and rape you at the same rate that there are black men?
There are white men around.
At the same rate?
There wasn't a lot of black people in there, but then that doesn't justify the fact that we're destroying each other. So even if we get to the root, like
we can agree on that,
okay,
sis.
because I feel like a lot of
Nothing
times liberals will
justifies,
argue like, well,
I'm not
the
a
white people
liberal.
are killing
I'm
people.
not a liberal.
Okay, well, I will say that people that sometimes have your stance that are against conservatives, maybe, they have this claim that they're making up the numbers. We know that we do that to each other. So I want to get to the root of the issue. Why are we killing each other? I think the root of the issue is we've lost our values and we've lost our resilience as black people. We sit there and we talk about what the white man did and we talk about slavery and everything like that, but we have no self-accountability and say, you know what, at the end of the day, that is my black grandmother, that is my black sister, you are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit some type of crime against you, and that's what we need to get down to the issue of. And like you were talking about earlier, like, hey, well, what's going on? You know, what do you think the answer is to one of the brothers that were speaking? I think it's the breakdown of the family. I think, like he said, because of our poor choices, and what happens is we look at domestic violence, for example, example. When domestic violence, women or men are even attacked, what is the first thing we say? It's like, you know what? It's not your what? It's not your fault. So that's what we do. We hold on to this narrative that, well, it's not our fault, and the issues in our community are not our fault, and the white man needs to give us something. The old white lady down the street is looking at me, and I don't know why she got braids in her hair. And we focus on all these other stupid things that don't matter. We don't get to the root of the fact that we're killing each other at a higher rate than any other race. It is self-hatred amongst us. I believe that we can do that. That my cousin, my mom's cousin, coming from the church parking lot, and guess who stuck her up and robbed her at gunpoint? A black man.
I need you to get to the point.
Like,
so
my
I can
point
respond.
is that no, and I'm not trying to be funny. Unless, like you said, we're gonna keep it respectful.
Yeah, but you're monopolizing the whole conversation.
I'm
we're
not
not
trying.
being
Okay, I'm
able
gonna
to
let you speak, but let's not get the
Yes.
attitudes and stuff, because you're my sister and I respect you. So
I
how
don't
you
have an
talk to
attitude.
them,
I'm being direct
but
to
how
you, but
talk
you're
to them,
literally
you're not gonna
speaking
talk
this,
to me.
and you're not going to do
Okay.
that with me either.
Okay,
so
so
you're
I'm
stating your
respecting
point,
you.
and you've been stating your point for quite some
So
time. So
say
you have
the
a
proper
reason
ways.
for
Would
me
you
to
like?
respond.
Would you allow me to respond? So that's a better response. Go ahead.
The response that I have for you is
Okay.
that everything you're saying does not exist in a vacuum. I actually agree with you in that, yes, there has been an incredible denigration of Black worth and Black pride in this nation. I think it's also very important to acknowledge what has contributed to that. And to state that it is only Black people that have contributed to that is a false flag. So we have to admit that. So in order to have this conversation around how we got here, you can't say, oh, well, we're caring about the white woman getting braids and that doesn't matter and this thing. All of that attaches. All of that is actually a very big part of the lack of worth of Black people.
I'll ask you, do you think we're resilient? What does resilience mean to you? Do you think we have to be perpetual victims, or do you think that Black people are resilient?
I think that those are two different conversations. I think that the concept of Black people being victims is really trying to not provide accountability to where the root problem for the actual cause is. And if we keep saying that somebody is a victim and that doesn't mean that the other person should have to actually have accountability, then what are we really doing? You can do both. You can be a victim and be resilient.
How do we do both if you stay in the victimhood? That's my question.
But your statement about Black people staying in the victim place is also your point of view.
But how do we rise above it?
We continue to rise above it by, one, pouring into our communities with mutual aid, but two, by simultaneously making sure that we are challenging the systems that are in place to impede us. We have so many opportunities where we are trying to do mutual aid, and those things get disrupted by folks who want to have capitalist gain, by folks who want privatization. We used to have all these mom and pop businesses in our communities.
There's
that
over
used to
3
serve
million Black millionaires in America right now. You are an intelligent Black woman that is successful.
That's irrelevant.
No one's stopping me from doing anything. I'm an intelligent Black woman that
Many
graduated and is
efforts have
successful.
tried to stop me from doing what I do. We are not all equal in our capabilities. And we are not all equal in our ability to be invested in by others.
I agree.
We are not all equal in our
resilient.
trauma.
Are we resilient?
We can't say because it is a false equivalency.
I believe that every Black person has resilience.
We
from
keep
slavery
trying,
all the way up
but
to
we
today.
keep trying to cause.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You've been voted out.
All right, this is what I'm going to do, because I'm not really up to it right now. I'm going to pause it right here, and I'm going to follow up with another part 2 of this. So for those that watch this, please catch a replay of this one. Leave your comments on what you think so far. I will have to, continue this on another time. Let me see where I stop at. All right, 32, 40 seconds. For part 2. If you're new to this channel, welcome to the Zero Ends channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And leave your comments. I'm looking forward to reading it personally. All right, thank y'all for watching. Until next time, like always, take care.